Was a very active, very active day at NRG. New injury concerns. DeMeco Ryans is over it. And did CJ Stroud take some shots at Bobby Slowick? I'll let you decide. Let's go inside the locker room.
Yeah. It's the locker room on YouTube. You know what it is. Let's get it. Hey, locker room. Yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk. Yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize every angle's what we really do. We the source, we the pulse of the city too. Landlocked, got the game in the headlock. Localize every time, can't stop, won't stop. Yeah, we top 2 and we not too. Plugged in daily digital on YouTube. We got taste for days.
We got one sleep till the start of the season. My goodness, I cannot believe we actually made it. We got a few sleeps till the Texans take on the Rams, which is why we are here. It is the locker room, number one source for Texans digital content. I was on the scene today, and there was a hell of a lot going on. You had CJ talking. You had DeMeco talking. They had some strong words in different ways. The locker room talk was really, really strong. Not this locker room talk, the locker room talk at NRG. We'll hear some of the conversations and see some of the conversations, hear the conversations, view the conversations that were had. We also got some injury concerns, which is where we start today. The Texans injury report is out, and there are 2 slot receivers, and there are 2 backup, and I emphasize backup offensive lineman. There was no Braxton Berrios at practice, and there was no
Captain Kirk, can you save me? Captain Kirk, I want to have your baby.
There was no Christian Kirk, which makes you wonder, is it going to be Jalen Knoll time when the Texans take on the Rams on Sunday? Now, I'm asking the question on the bottom, above the sleeper tag. I'm asking the question, how big would the absence of these guys be? I think based on what we've spoken on, it feels like Nick Caley wants to use as many slot guys as possible. And Christian Kirk, he was WR2 throughout camp. But the question is with Christian Kirk is, can he stay healthy? And if he misses the first game of the season, then that's a really bad start. It's not to dismiss the possibility of him contributing, but if coming off the last 2 seasons, in which the biggest question about Christian Kirk has been, can he stay healthy? If he misses the first game of the season, you got to start to wonder about him. Now, fortunately for the Texans, they did draft Jalen Knoll. It was somewhat of a luxury pick. We know he's the future there. Christian Kirk, most likely a 1-year guy here, definitely for that price. So the absence, we don't know, and we really haven't seen Nick Caley, who, by the way, we're going to hear from tomorrow. I'm looking forward to that. Nick. We haven't really seen what Nick Caley does and how he uses these guys. So how big would the absence of Kirk be? I think that impacts the offense. Berrios, I don't think that necessarily impacts the offense, but it impacts the special teams. But you have some guys with some upside. Dameon Pierce is already kick returner 1. And then at punt returner, you got a few options when it comes to punt returners. But that was really the biggest thing that went down at practice, was that we didn't see the 2 slot guys. As far as the tackles go, I don't want to say Cam Robinson's like pulling some Micah Parsons, but it's got to be not a very fun experience for a guy who is used to starting, thought he was going to start, and then all of a sudden he got beat out by a rookie at left tackle. That's probably not ideal. I doubt he's the happiest guy, but we'll see how serious the illness is. The other thing about it is, and I don't think they're thinking this far ahead. This would be some Patriot way paranoia if they were doing this. But when you're listed on the injury report, you can't talk to the media until you're cleared. So maybe there's that. when it comes to Cam Robinson. He doesn't want us just asking him about being a backup. But I don't even know if he's on too many people's agenda when it comes to talking about that. But the two slot guys, it's definitely not nothing. It's definitely something, and it's something to keep an eye on. By the way, the rumblings out of LA are that Matthew Stafford is a full go. He's not even on their injury report. And they're relatively healthy right now. And so are the Texans. I mean, you're missing 2 backup tackles, your 7th wide receiver in WR2, which we'll look at. But that was really the biggest thing on the practice field. CJ Gardner-Johnson, we'll hear from him in a sec. What a funny fella that guy is. He dropped a no diddy today in his first media availability. But that's definitely something to take a look at. Risque Barber. This is a hell of a transition. You're almost throwing me an alley-oop here. Risque Barber on the super chat. Let's go to the super chat here in the locker room, presented by Sleeper.
You ain't never hate.
Swarm.
A little jammed over there. Risque Barber asks, over under 5.5 receptions for Nico. Should I hop on it early with the Kirk news? Why not? And I think that is the number at Sleeper as well. 5.5. Here's the Sleeper picks of the day for me. And I'm trying to stack up the account before the weekend. This is just a try to stack up the account before the weekend attempt. And you can go to Sleeper, download the Sleeper app, use the promo code LOCKER. You're going to get 100% deposit match up to $100, which is fantastic. Very good. Love the Sleeper app. A lot of things that you can do on there. We moved our fantasy league chat over to there because there's a lot of stuff that goes on, a lot of analysis. The survivor pool, if you haven't joined yet, we have that with the locker room. But my pick today is very simple when it comes to Sleeper. I got the freebie, Joe Burrow. And this is where they're really cool, where they let you really stack your account. Over half a yard. That's today's special. They have those daily. So they're just giving you the bunny. And then that increases your odds. And then I'm just going to get some action tomorrow in the game of skill. That is Sleeper over under. And I'm going to take George Pickens over 54.5 yards. I'm going to say he's got a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. Maybe the Cowboys fall behind. Maybe the Eagles pay a lot of attention to CeeDee Lamb. And I'm going to go with the over on Pickens. And that $10 will pay me $28.40. So that's where I'm going. You can get in the game as well. And if you do, use the promo code LOCKER. Very much appreciated. If you want to get in the free survivor pool, it's right there in the chat. Appreciate y'all for rolling with me. And shout out to the greatness that is Sleeper. DeMeco Ryans is tired of something, and it has nothing to do with injuries. DeMeco Ryans is very, very tired of something. He's tired of talking about what we've been talking about all offseason. And we saw an extremely confident DeMeco the other day. We saw just the oozing with confidence. And now confidence has kind of turned into intensity. Here was DeMeco Ryans talking about the offensive line and the talk about that offensive line. Here's DeMeco.
For our offensive line, we'll see. There's been questions all offseason about our offensive line. Everybody wants to know who's going out there. Who is this guy, this position, that position. It's just a lot of talk that quite frankly, I'm tired of talking about it. Like, it's time to go play, and let's see how our 5 matches up against a really great defensive line. And that's what we'll see on Sunday. Let's see how it all plays out.
All right. So he's tired of talking about the offensive line. And a lot of times when we talk about DeMeco Ryans, rightfully so, we talk about how he's a player's coach and how DeMeco Ryans wants to just defend his players. I actually think that he might just be tired of them getting praised up to this point. I don't think this is just about the criticism that they had last year. I think this has just as much to do with how much this offensive line has been praised. We've been in a honeymoon phase with the offensive line. It was so bad last year, and there haven't been any games to kind of expose it, that all anyone is doing is talking good about the offensive line. I like what I hear. I like what I see. I like the pop influence.
Pop, lock, and drop it. Pop, lock, and drop it.
But they haven't done anything, and we've seen nothing from it. So I don't think this is just about DeMeco Ryans being tired of the offensive line being crapped on. I think he just wants to see it. We all do. I know that we do this 365 days a year. We're creeping up on the 3-year anniversary of the locker room. But sometimes you just want to get in game mode. We want to have something to talk about. Like a lot of the times I say, and I find myself saying when I look back at some of these night streams, I'm like, well, we'll see how that goes. We will. That's all we have. I don't anticipate them being a team that's going to run the ball well. I don't anticipate this offensive line being great, but they've been talked about at such a high level, despite the fact there's a lot of reason for concern. Youth, what we've seen in the past on the right side of the line, and then just limited upside, it feels like, in the middle. So we don't know what this offensive line is going to look like. And DeMeco Ryans is tired of talking about it. And I agree. I want to see what the offensive line looks like too. We got, what, 1, 2, 3, 4 sleeps till we finally get to see what this looks like. I'm with DeMeco on this. Let's see what it looks like. But in the meantime, let's talk about it. Let's hear what Tytus Howard had to say. I caught up with Tytus Howard in the locker room. Here was what Tytus Howard had to say about the offensive line, specifically this mindset. We hear about this mindset, and my thing on the mindset is that's cool. How the hell do you develop a mindset in practice? How do you develop a mindset in practice? You haven't played a game. Tytus, how does that happen? And what have you worked on personally? Here was a conversation with Tytus Howard in the locker room today during Texans media availability with your boy.
Talk about the mindset of the offensive line. How do you develop a mindset without playing a game?
Practice. Practice is a game in itself every day, especially going against the defense we got. You got some of the best guys in the league up front, overall, the whole defense. So we got to develop that mindset. We got to bring that intensity every day and get better every day going against those guys.
How has your mindset improved this year compared to last?
I'm just saying I would be more of a leader, trying to show guys the right way to do it, being a voice for the room, and encouraging guys to, put their best foot forward, just, get better every day. So trying to be consistent with that every day is my biggest goal.
Aside from mindset and effort, what did you guys maybe work on during training camp, and what did you see out there, I guess, physically that, showed you good signs that, okay, we are growing, we can be the offensive line that we want to be?
I'll say technique, man. That's the biggest thing, being technical every play. A lot of times last year, our technique fell short in games and put us in a lot of bad situations. So Coach Pop been doing a great job of holding us accountable and holding everybody to a certain standard, no matter if you're 7, you're 8, or you're a rookie. He treats everybody the same and hold that standard every day for the room.
All right, so that's what Tytus Howard had to say. So DeMeco's tired of the talk. I understand, but let's get back to the talk. Let's just be honest. It's kind of what we do. But I do get what DeMeco's saying, and I want to see what the hell it looks like. Kind of with him on that. But Tytus Howard does sound the part. He looks more the part. And he's back to the right side. So things don't always go according to plan. It's a very fluid process in the offseason. And Tytus Howard seems relatively confident. The other offensive linemen, we've already spoken to Ursery. Same old. We haven't spoken to Lakin Tomlinson. We haven't spoken to Andrews yet. And I don't think I've talked to Ingram all camp. So we got to make that happen the next few days. So we'll continue to talk. And we'll talk after we know too, and find out what those guys are doing as we go on that scene. Something else that happened today. I was pretty close on the captains. when it came to the guesses. We have the Texans captains officially official. I said either Nico or Stingley. And I'll be damned, Nico Collins is a captain. See it right there. Will Anderson, CJ Stroud, number 2, number 3 overall pick in the 2023 draft, Nico Collins. Man, a few words, but he's about that action, boss. Aziz Al-Shire and Dare Ogunbowale is a captain on this football team. They love them some Dare Ogunbowale. This is a special teams type of thing. But Dare Ogunbowale is a guy that, when you look back, knowing what we know now about Joe Mixon, I don't know which running back would have been the guy out had Mixon been able to go miraculously in week 1. But I think it perhaps could have been Dameon Pierce because they're not going to quit Dare. Or maybe they brought in Nick Chubb because of the Mixon thing. But the way they talk about Dare Ogunbowale, a guy who maximizes everything he's got, y'all know the old saying, there would be no such thing as underachievers if everybody maximized their potential like Dare Ogunbowale. Some of you are drinking after I said that. It's just kind of what it is, drinking game. But it's true. And they think a hell of a lot of him, and they trust him in virtually any situation. Now, you don't want to give him the ball 15, 20 times a game. But whether it's 2-minute drill, whether it's situational stuff, special teams, they trust Dare Ogunbowale. And when you listen to the guy and you just hear the guy, first of all, he's pretty funny in the locker room. You just walk by, you hear like someone say something funny, you look back, it's Dare Ogunbowale. Pretty funny dude. But when you talk to him, you can just kind of realize, man, this dude has a hell of a head on his shoulders. And I don't know where it comes from, but a lot of times when you hear someone talk about an athlete and you hear coaches, and maybe you look at the athlete and you say, well, this guy's not a good running back. He's not great. Special teams, we don't know what that is. You hear coaches praise the guy, and then you talk to him, you're like, dude, this guy's an absolute dipshit. Nick Martin. I'm sorry. I'll just say the name. You guys know how I am. Like Bill O'Brien with Nick Martin. Like you heard Nick Martin talk and you're like, what in the hell does he like about this guy? Why does he act like this guy is just so great? Nick Martin. What is that? But when you speak to Dare Ogunbowale, you can just kind of get why the coaches like him so much. And that's exactly what I did. I went over to Dare Ogunbowale. I just want to ask him about being a captain, being consistent, and if those things kind of combat each other when you get the C on the shoulder. Here's Dare Ogunbowale, one of your 5 Houston Texans captains earlier today in the NRG locker room.
What was it like being named team captain?
It's a blessing, man. It's always special. Being able to be voted by your teammates. That's what means the most, I guess. So that was very, very special.
The word that always comes up is consistency with you, whether it's Frank or DeMeco. They bring in a lot of other running backs. What has this offseason been like compared to others? And has it been at all any more difficult to be consistent with all the stuff going on around you in that room?
No, I mean, I've been a part of some wild off seasons, you know what I'm saying? So I've just been able to stay consistent, throughout my 9 years. Just finding what works for me, how I train, how I work, and just my routine. So I've been able to be a consistent guy, consistent player, have a consistent role, and it's been very good for me.
Is there any extra added responsibility that comes with being consistent and a captain at the same time?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I feel like my leadership style has always, I guess, shown through the way I attack every day. I mean, it's like I said, it's an honor, like a true honor to be voted by my teammates to represent them like that and be a captain. But I don't plan on changing the way I lead at all.
All right, there you go. It's Dare Ogunbowale on the chat immediately, and I get it. Jerome Kick says, God bless him. I'm tired of Dare on this team. We have to find somebody better. I get it. He's not an every down back. The special team stuff doesn't flash. I do think there's kind of a combination of just being consistent and not really maximizing the opportunity to have depth at the running back position. But he just hangs around, man. He just hangs around. But I can completely understand what you're saying, for sure. So we heard from CJ, we heard from DeMeco. We'll hear a little more from each of them, as well as some other sounds in the locker room, including the sounds that many people wanted to hear. Biggest character on the team. Crazy CJ Gardner-Johnson, his first media availability. But first, we got to give the real upgrade, update that everyone really wants to know about. The weed smell at NRG. Because as I said the other day, you walked in, post-weekend concert, the locker room, the media room, the hallway.
High-grade marijuana called Kush on the streets.
That $30 a G type of good too. Today, walking in NRG, kind of a familiar smell. It wasn't the strong
high-grade marijuana called Kush on the streets.
But it was kind of like if you're in college and you're smoking in the dorm room and you hear the RA knocking on the door and you cover up the smell, you get your, like, back when Tag body spray first came out and Axe, you spray it, you Febreze, all that type of stuff, open the window, and there's a smaller funk. It's kind of what it smells like now. But there are still some hints of that high grade at NRG. I know that's the update y'all really wanted. You won't get that news anywhere else. Maybe rightfully so. But it was definitely smelling in NRG. And I bet a lot of the players want to judge him. I bet that a lot of the players probably didn't mind the smell, like your boy. So DeMeco Ryans is going to go against Sean McVay. There's a couple of elements with that matchup that kind of need to touch on. And Cody Stutes got into like the motion and some of that nerdy stuff. We did on SNL as well, which you can hear it for. By the way, big announcement coming down in a sec. If you didn't already hear, Reaction Monday will never be the same again. But let's hear DeMeco talking about those receivers. Davante Adams put his foot in the Texans' ass last Halloween. Puka Nacua is kind of the type of receiver that feels like the Texans could be vulnerable against. Let's hear what DeMeco has to say about those guys and the challenges they pose for his defense.
Puka Nacua and Davante Adams, two talented, big-time playmakers. Like, they're going to find ways to get these guys to football because we know they're great with the ball in their hands. I mean, they can make you miss. They can hit explosives down the field. Everything you want from a receiving standpoint, both guys are able to do that. So for us, again, it's going to be a collective effort. It's not about one corner covering one guy. It's about collectively, like, how are we going to stop these guys as a defense? They're going to move guys around all over the place. So we just have to be on it. We have to make sure we're urgent with our communication, urgent with our eyes and alignments to make sure we're on it, we're dialed in of where guys align and what they're trying to do to us, how they're trying to attack us. If we play the game the right way, everybody is on it, then we'll be just fine.
All right. I don't really fear Davante Adams that much at this point. Now, CJ Gardner-Johnson called him the best route runner of all time. I just think that with the corners that you have, you should be able to handle that. Now, if they're putting him in the slot, that's completely different. I don't know how they attack that, especially if Petrie is on the field. That'll be an interesting little chess match that we've spoken on. But for some reason, Davante Adams, it just doesn't really strike fear. Didn't last year either when he got the best of the Texans, but just doesn't really do that. Puka Nacua, yes. Davante Adams, not really. Not really. Matthew Stafford, though. Is Matthew Stafford washed? It's a fair question. Matthew Stafford is 38 years old. He's getting shots that they give pregnant women to numb pain heading into this game. I know there's always examples of like Tom Brady, and that's really the only really one where you're playing just at an elite level into your 40s. Matthew Stafford's one of the toughest quarterbacks of our time. And I think right now the body's just kind of catching up to him. Happens to everybody. But the body's not really what DeMeco Ryans talked about when I asked him about the challenges that Matthew Stafford poses. And I think this is an interesting way of looking at it. And I think this is kind of a trip inside the mind of DeMeco Ryans and perhaps why he is as good as he is on the defensive side of the ball. Here was DeMeco Ryans when I asked him about what kind of a threat Matthew Stafford is.
What are the biggest challenges that Matthew Stafford presents from a defensive coach's POV?
Stafford has done it exceptionally well for a long time. There's nothing you're going to do to confuse him from a defensive coach's perspective. He's seen it all. He's played against every type of coverage you want to run. He's done it. He's been successful. So it's not trying to surprise him or fool him. Like we got to be where we're supposed to be and just play sound.
All right. Fair. That's fair. I think the Texans can play sound and they can play exotic. I think that's why it's an elite defense. I don't think that necessarily prevents them from doing what they want to do. You can make a case it might actually be better for them. On the chat, J-Dub says, I wouldn't sleep on Stafford over exaggerating about the shots. You don't exaggerate about an epidural, brother. And when you've taken a beating like Matthew Stafford has, there's not exaggeration. Like you're getting an epidural, it's a back. You don't exaggerate. When you start talking back in your late 30s, it's not an exaggeration. So he's been banged up. He's obviously getting the best treatment. He's obviously gotten a lot more comfortable. He wasn't even on their injury report. But I don't think you exaggerate getting epidural shots. That's crazy to say that's an exaggeration. that's actually nuts. To say that's like just he's just getting epidural shots in his back. They don't know if he's going to be there, but it's just an epidural shot. That's an exaggeration. It's not a exaggeration. And you're just going to double down on the stupidity. Love you, J-Dub, though. Glad you're here. My mom had those shots and went back to work. Your mom's not getting chased down by 300-pounders, bro. That's a terrible example. That's like saying, yeah, I had ACL surgery the other day, but that was a week and a half ago, and now I'm back at work. I'm out here working after I got my ACL surgery. That's dumb, J-Dub. That's dumb as hell. I'm gonna put J-Dub in. I won't put you in timeout. We won't do that till the season. But come on. Cougar on the super chat.
You ain't never hate.
Swarm.
He said CJ didn't sound confident about the offensive line. They try hard. Why would he be? Why would CJ be confident in this offensive line? He's never played a game in front of him. He's practiced behind him. And quite frankly, the defense is whooping their ass a large portion of the time. That's a good defense, but the defense is whooping their ass a good portion of the time. Like, why would he be confident? He's got a rookie left tackle. He's got a right tackle who has been a roller coaster ride, mainly down lately. He's got a guy who was the Minnesota Vikings version of Kenyon Green. He's got a guy who hasn't played a lot of games that we didn't anticipate starting. And he's got a guy who's been in the league for a long, 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 long time. And despite the fact he started a crap load of games, every team he's been at thinks he sucks. So, yeah, I would – if it – blind faith would not do CJ any good. So I just think, yeah, he doesn't sound confident. Probably shouldn't be confident. Like, are you confident in the offensive line? You can think it might be better, but would you be confident in the offensive line? I would say probably not. Probably not. Let's hear from CJ, though. CJ was asked And I thought this was kind of shots fired at old Bobby Slowick. Poor Bobby. Just can't get away. But this was CJ talking about the system. And this is a shot. This is just kind of the reality of where we are with the Bobby Slowick era.
Damn it, Bobby.
Here's CJ Stroud. Shots fired. These are shots. These aren't indirect. These are shots. Direct hits.
I feel like a lot of times in the NFL, from what I've learned, is like a lot of coaches or teams try to make like the player fit the scheme instead of the scheme fitting the player. And I think it's sometimes a good thing because you get to challenge yourself to try new things, but also I think, you should come in and try to have the scheme fit the players in a way, just because, there's some certain guys are really good at X, Y, and Z, not good at A, B, and C. And I think like there's a balance you need to have to like challenge yourself to try new things, but also doing things that, you're already naturally good at. So this offense does a good job at that of like trying to or doing things that guys are naturally good at, but also challenging to try new things.
All right, there you go. That's CJ. That's shots fired at Bobby Slowick. We don't know what Nick Caley is going to be, but they like Nick Caley. You know why? This is the reality of it. It's become very apparent. And maybe a lot of it's revisionist history. Sometimes when someone leaves, you try to make them look worse to justify your current situation. And sometimes you have to do that to gas yourself up if you lose something. I'm not sitting here acting like they lost Bill Walsh, but I do remember what we and they were saying about Bobby Slowick. And that his inability to adjust, his inability to put players in situations. We've talked about this, and it was apparent. A lot of that wasn't revisionist history. And on this stream, we were talking about it. We were asking him about it, and we were talking about it. But you know why they like Nick Caley so much? Because he's not Bobby Slowick. But at this point in the Slowick era, we go back 2 years, they liked him a lot. At this point in the Slowick era, we go back 1 year, they liked him a lot. We don't know what the hell Nick Caley's going to be. But he's not Bobby Slowick, and that's what they like. 21 Savage on the chat says, I didn't like that CJ kind of threw shots at Bobby. They both regressed, in my opinion. I would agree. Did not reach the standard of either one of them. I would agree. 100%. Trey of Texas says, CJ didn't launch shots at Bobby. He sunk his battleship, bro. That's a fact. Was Bobby effing up chemistry now? No, I think Tunsil had as much to do with that. And that's another thing that we talked about last year where there was some kind of some revisionist history. I think Tunsil was doing that. We talked about that last year in depth. Don't have to change our stance on that. Do you think Caserio had any say in hiring Caley? I do. They know each other. They know each other from the New England days. I would say that he probably did. Has a say in a lot of things. But yeah, I would. Who knows? All right. I said I wasn't going to put anyone in timeout. Oh, you're going to timeout. Let's see what they do. What they're going to do first Sunday before we start to complain. Nobody's complaining, brother. 5 minutes in the corner. Thanks for your service. Trey says Tunsil's attitude was poisonous. I don't know if it's poisonous. We'll see. We'll see what the O-line looks like. You can definitely see the difference in the manner in which these guys speak. All right, so I thought this was one of CJ's best answers in a long time because we know that him and Nico Collins are on the same page. Something that's kind of crazy is he hasn't thrown a pass in a game to any of these receivers except Nico Collins in a game that actually counts, except Nico Collins and Xavier Hutchinson. And as good as Xavier Hutchinson has been, I don't know that too many people expect him to like just set the world on fire. Expect big things from Nico Collins, massive things from Nico Collins. But you're not expecting him to like set the world on fire. So he's going to have to get on the same page with these guys eventually in some way, shape, or form. You would think that you actually have to play a game for that to happen. You can do stuff in practice, but you're going to have to actually play a game. I asked CJ about this. This is a bar right here by CJ Stroud talking about what it takes to get on the same page. And it's really honest. It's really in depth. And it's one of my favorite answers of the offseason from CJ Stroud. I think he's just ready to get on the field and play. But here's CJ Stroud talking about getting on the same page with 5 of the 7 receivers that you've never thrown a pass to in an actual game. This is solid.
Going back to the go-to guy, you've gotten on the same page with a lot of receivers going back to Ohio State. What's the trust process like, developing trust for some of the new guys that you might have this year, and how much of that do you actually have to play games for that to begin?
Yeah, I know it's kind of weird, but I would say like failure is probably the best way to get that done in ways. Like throwing the ball, like even now, me and Nico sometimes don't connect, and that there's good things because now we can have a conversation. So sometimes it's in practice, like when it's too perfect, which is also a goal. Sometimes it cannot be good because in the game it's not going to be exactly how we draw it up or the scout guys give it to us. So I think sometimes like having hard conversations like, bro, you need to be better here. I need to be better there. So I think that has to do with it. And yes, playing the games definitely does help.
All right. Yeah. And that's the reality of it. We're gonna see if he can get on the same page with Higgins and Noel. We don't know when Kirk's gonna be back. Maybe tomorrow. Who knows? We'll be on the scene and we'll figure that out. But he's gonna have to get on the same page with these guys. He's gonna have to get on the same page with Nick Caley. He's gonna have to get on the same page with his offensive line. That's why the defense is going to have to do a lot of the heavy lifting right now. Like if this was a group project, they're doing 70% of the group project. If you want to assure that you're going to have a good grade, the defense is just going to have to step it up. If the offense is a pleasant surprise, cool. But it's gonna have to be the defense. There's a lot of things. The defense, they know each other for the most part. They filled in some holes, but the offense they're going to have to get on the same page. They're going to have to figure some stuff out. And it's going to be a week-to-week thing. It's going to be a play-to-play thing, a drive-to-drive thing. They're going to have to figure it out. And the most important guy is going to be Nick Caley, who we'll hear from tomorrow, and CJ Stroud. Those are the 2 most important guys. And there's a chance they're going to have to overcome a bad offensive line. But if we go back to what the theme was earlier on this week, if you can get to where the defense is allowing the offense to be graded on a curve to where they don't necessarily have to be consistently great, you're going to have a really good football team. And then the number one thing that you can hope for is if it's not awesome right off the top, then it at least gets better. And when things happen that are out of your control, you're able to overcome those things and figure it out. You just got to get better. And if it's really, really good off the top, then you're going to have to adjust. You're still going to have to be creative. And you can't just sit there and try to continue to do the same thing and fit the square peg into the round hole.
Damn it, Bobby.
And that's the thing. And that's why CJ Stroud's saying what he's saying. And that's why the Texans did what they did. But it's easy to take shots at Bobby Slowick when you haven't played a game without him. We'll see what the hell it looks like. It's going to be really, really fun to watch. And I'm fired up for the season. Appreciate y'all for rolling through. Let's celebrate it together. Come out to Spanky's next Friday, September 12th. Myself, Cody Stutes will be out there. We're going to be broadcasting live at 4:00, and we're going to be eating pizza and wings. They make their pizza, their sauces, the dough. They make it from scratch. They've been doing that for creeping up on 50 years. We're almost on the 50-year anniversary of one of the best family businesses from father to daughters in the game. We're going to be out at the Bel Air location. The telephone location was awesome. Come out there, celebrate. We got some gifts. I got a nice giveaway today. I got it at NRG. So come out there, get some gifts. We got some Texans gear, and we got a lot. We want you to come out there and join us out at Spanky's next Friday. Also, they have the less than $12 one-topping large pizzas Monday and Wednesday. And it's one of the best bang for buck places and one of the best local businesses in town. We're very honored to be working with Spanky's. We hope to see you out there 2 Fridays from now, and appreciate everyone for rolling through. I cannot believe someone actually said my mom got an epidural shot and went back to work. That was a bot, right? I see him on the chat a little bit. That was a joke, right? He was kidding, right? Did that humor just go over my head, or was he being serious? Exaggerating the epidural shot. My mom went back to work. That was a joke, right? 21 Savage, get your ass up there, man. Says I might just pull up. Get your ass up there, man. They got a bar. They got a full bar. They got the patio. They got it. It's not just pizza. They got a nice ass bar. Underrated. It's a nice establishment. Get up there, man. We'll see you out there. Let's hear from CJ Gardner-Johnson. CJ Gardner-Johnson. Been looking forward to this for a while. We didn't hear much from him because he was injured. But CJ Gardner-Johnson, he had his media availability today. Here he was. CJ Gardner-Johnson. So he was sitting down. He said, all right, let's go. I'm ready. Texans PR let him know, we want you standing up with your shirt on in front of your locker. He's like, is that the NFL policy? If I call the NFL right now, they're saying that. He was like, no, it's our policy. He's like, I gotcha. And then CJ Gardner-Johnson just did what CJ Gardner-Johnson do. And I asked him the first question, by the way. He downplays it. But come on, man.
There we go. You to admit that. But
Go ahead.
what has it been like?
Hold on. Come on. My lips chapped. You gotta be fresh on camera. Bro. You ready? You gotta do this. You gotta do this. All right, I'm good.
What have the last few weeks been like going back to the West Virginia, the scare, and now? What have the emotions been like?
Man, I was good the whole time. Once I got the news, what was it? After practice, I was good. So, I was good.
Can you describe what happened, what pain did you feel, what injury it was?
Practicing hard in Greenbrier and probably overstraining myself, like just going hard than usual, and body gave out one day.
How is it to be back in Japan for your first game?
I'm good. I feel good. I'm ready to go hunt. New team, so everybody trying to see how they haven't seen me throughout preseason. They want to do. I feel good. Just blessed to be on the field with a group of guys that's ready to play ball.
So you were good once you found out. Was there any initial scare once you went down?
Yeah, originally when you get hurt, you go down in pain, but it's like after that, whatever the doctors and the trainers do it, like knows, they did their thing, and I appreciate JB, Rowe, Ezra, all those guys. They did a great job. Rolling.
Now that you completed a full offseason with the team, what excites you about what's possible for this Texas defense?
You gotta play good football, play fast, physical. We're young, still gotta learn. So try to understand that it's week one, and don't get ahead of yourself. I've been on championship teams, caliber teams, so it's a trap week. Traveling West Coast, first game, you're not home. So you gotta keep your mind focused and mentally prepare what you're gonna do.
What are some challenges that the Rams present for you guys?
A lot. They got a veteran quarterback. They got great receiver core, great back. Their defense plays tremendously great at home. We got to go out there with our head on our shoulders, ready to compete. You let the people tell. I just talk a lot. But other than that, we're gonna come and ball like I've been doing. Go check the Carfax.
Check the Carfax.
I'm just gonna check it and get the
A couple more guys.
You're known for being a ball.
The man said, check the Carfax.
What is it about your ability to go get the football? How are you able to consistently be one of the guys?
I've been playing football since I was 2, but seeing a lot of football, been around a lot of great players, and just studying. The more you study and you see a lot of things and playing in big championship games and being in playoff games, you see a lot, so you can react faster. You can diagnose players with teammates. You can give them tips and stuff like that.
No Diddy.
Long story short, yeah, just being a vet.
My man dropped a no Diddy. Say that one more time.
You see a lot, so you can react faster. You can diagnose players with teammates. You can give them tips and stuff like that. Long story short, yeah, just being a vet just helps me go out there and help analyze film Monday through Friday, and then I turn on Saturday and Sunday and ready to go.
You've had a chance to compete against Devontae Adams over the years. What challenge does he present to a defense?
That's the greatest route runner of all time, you ask me. All time. I love Devontae Adams' game. It's probably going to be my second time actually playing against him, so hope I get his jersey.
A lot of people talk about the energy thing, competitiveness. Why you've always been why has that been important for you?
Because they're going to we're in a business where you're scrutinized for how you talk, how you play, what you do, skin color. I feel like if you don't pour passion to your job, I think me waking up being passionate about my job because it turned into a hobby. At first it was just a hobby. I play football for a hobby, the lights, clicks. That was my 9 to 5. So my passion, it changes. Not because of the money, it changes because I know the guy next to me in the locker room. They look at me in a different light. Not just energy guy. When you've been places, people look at you differently. And you've been around certain people and you hear certain things. Like one of the vets actually they like, what's one of the things I've learned from Super Bowl runs? Be consistent. You gotta pace yourself. And you gotta have that conversation in the mirror like a grown man. Am I doing what I need to do to help this team?
All good. All right, there you go. That's CJ Gardner-Johnson. Did not disappoint in his first media availability. Cebu asks on the chat, how did Caserio flip Kenyon Green for CJ Gardner-Johnson? Amazing. It's the bar tab theory that I have. It's the bar tab theory where you do so much business together or you go to the bar so much with your bro that sometimes he picks up the tab and then you pick up the tab the next time. I don't think they were going to keep CJ Gardner-Johnson, and they ended up getting a pretty decent safety in the draft. So I think that Howie Roseman basically said, hey, we do a lot of deals together, aka we go to the bar together a lot. Let me pick up the tab this time. I'll send you CJ Gardner-Johnson, who we're not going to even probably have on our team. You just give me something like Kenyon Green, and then we'll flip draft picks, and then we'll do a trade later down the line, and we'll flip those draft picks back. And then you fast forward to the John Mechie situation where John Mechie would probably make a lot of ball clubs. Harrison Bryant wasn't going to make the Eagles squad, and they flipped those guys, and then they flipped the draft picks back. I think it's the bar tab. I think it's the bar tab theory there. And yes, Caserio does not drink. That is a known fact. Frank Z says about Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, the dude looks like DMX. That is a race card.
Race card.
It's a double race card.
Race card.
He doesn't look like DMX. Come on. Does he look like DMX, chat? I don't know about that. That's a little crazy to me. Be sure to go to Sleeper. Get a $100 deposit match up to $100. I gave you my pick. I'm going Pickens over, and the freebie of the day, the Joe Burrow Sleeper, it's going to end up being one of the ultimate cream of the crop sports places. They're already pushing 10 million. It is a game of skill. Strong recommendation. We have the Survivor pool, which we dropped a link on earlier today, the Locker Room Survivor pool. So go check out Sleeper. Also, got a lot of inventory right now, but I'm really looking forward to this collab. You all know that SNL is on in the mornings on Reaction Mondays, and the 4 o'clock is just kind of different. It's a different vibe. We watch Monday Night Football, then we go live here, and we kind of put a bow on the week, and then we kind of somewhat look ahead. That's kind of the vibe of the Monday show for us. Unless the Texans play. If the Texans play, it's crazy as hell. We're up to about 12:30, and we're talking about what the hell happened. We're going to get 2 of those. But Reaction Monday now, a collab I'm really looking forward to. is the Texans Collective, our agency, Hog Media. Shout out to Hog Media. Has got me and Cody Stutes pairing up with one of the best Houston radio voices of all time, former co-worker of mine, Sean Pendergast, getting in the digital game like we all are, and Reginald Atatula, who I call Reggie. We're going to collaborate, and it is a brand new channel. It's going to be on Mondays at 6 o'clock going into Monday Night Football. So it's basically your pregame for Monday Night Football, but it is localized, it's Texans related, and we're going to get some more perspectives in the digital space along with myself and Cody with a different feel. So I just put the link in. Do us a favor, do us a solid, subscribe, because this is going to be a banger. Now, Sean Pendergast knows what the F is doing. He's a future Texas Radio Hall of Famer. I don't know if a lot of you are familiar with Reggie's game. Very insightful, very analytic, awesome. All four of us have been A-chairs, so it's going to be a different vibe. You know, the SNL vibe's not changing. Our schedule does not change. It's the exact same as it's been on Reaction Mondays. Still the number one Reaction Monday product in the morning, and then we have a new mix. So, and it's going to be solid. It's not going to be like me and Cody having guests and just, oh, this is an extension of SNL. It's going to be different. I don't mind Sean Pendergast going in the A chair. My daughter's excited about it. She's screaming about it. She's pumped about it. And then 11:25. It's a late bedtime. She sleeps though. She sleeps a lot. She took a late nap today. Come here. Come here. Hey, don't go on that side. You've been known to screw the show up on that. But we're looking forward to this collab very much. Very much. So be sure to subscribe to that. Appreciate y'all for rolling through. That's a no for me, Jim. On the chat. That's a no for me, dog. But yeah, subscribe to the Texans Collective. Dropping the link one more time. Appreciate y'all. All the people who subbed it. Appreciate y'all. Not you. Troublemaker. Troublemaker. Come here. Say hi. Say hi. Say hi. Say happy football season. Is it like you're like a kid on Christmas? You're happy the season starts tomorrow. Okay. All right. That's enough of that. Subscribe to the collective. Appreciate y'all for rolling through. Pawn Shop says he'll do it when he stops driving. Man, you got to know how to drive in tech. Just kidding. Just kidding. Don't do that. Definitely don't do that. So, Manana. We got, someone says Cowboys, Eagles predictions. I'm gonna take them to cover. I'm gonna take them to cover. I got George Pickens on my sleeper, my weekly sleeper thing. I got George Pickens over yards. I'm gonna take them to cover. I think the +7 is there. I think there's gonna be some hate bet going on. So I'm gonna take the +7. But don't follow my gambling advice. Not a good thing to do. Appreciate all the people who did subscribe. So tomorrow, I'm looking forward to this. Tomorrow, we are going to hear from Nick Caley. Good old Nick. Nick Caley. What do we want to hear from Nick Caley? What's something new that we want to hear from Nick Caley? Not what's it been like working with CJ Stroud? What's it like Nico Collins? Hey, what about your relationship with Sean McVay going back? No, we ain't doing that. I already know what I'm asking him about. He's used these two words a number of times. I want some in-depth stuff from Nick Caley. I want to know about the core axioms. Tell me about the core axioms of this offense. That's what I want to know from Nick Caley. I don't really ask Matt Burke questions because, let's be honest, I just don't look at him as a guy who's calling the defense. I don't look at him as a guy who's calling the defense. So I like Matt Burke. I prefer asking Matt Burke about life stuff. Frank Ross, we have the over-under set at 1:45 for his opening statement. He likes to go up and give opening statements. It's week 1. I have the over. Stutes has the under. Loser has to drink 4 ounces of apple cider vinegar. Cody's kind of trying to back away from the apple cider vinegar bets. It's just it's weak shit on his part to back out of that. Like that's such a good bet. It's healthy. It's cleansing your system. there's something on the line. You're not losing any money. Like, I just feel like Cody needs to quit being so weird about the apple cider vinegar stuff. He's got to quit that. But I got the over on the 145. I think he's going to go in depth. I also think he might shout out my boy Jordan Whittington. Big fan of Jordan Whittington's game. Complete football player out there. Slot guy. Lunch pail guy. And that's not even a race card lunch pail guy. I'll hit it anyways. But that's not even a race card.
Race card!
Lunch pail guys can come in all forms. They don't just have to look like the Braxton Berrioses and Wes Welkers of the world. Jordan Whittington is definitely that guy. So, yeah, we've had a lot of announcements today. The Collective, subscribe, Spankies, next Friday, Sleeper, all that. There's plenty more where that came from. We appreciate y'all for riding along, SNL, everything like that. Looking forward to adding even more to the game. We are the kings of the stream. I'm going to roll with that. Something else that happened today that we had some fun with, and it resulted, I think Rich Boy was the one who came up with it, but it resulted in Aaron Wilson getting the nickname Alpha Aaron. Aaron Wilson said that, or Aaron Wilson, not only did his phone played a video of himself while CJ was speaking. Alpha Aaron with the hiccup.
You know, my career so far has been Nico, Tank, and, I think those two guys have really been the ones that I've really been around the most and been able to, I got you. I'm messing with you.
Alpha Aaron doing his thing. That sucks, man. Playing your own sound. Your own sound. That's goodness. Someone says do a 13-second count on a bottle of Jack instead of ACV. Dude, you think I'm chugging Jack these days, brother? That used to be like handle a night in college, but the Jack, no. That is not happening. The handle Jack. I used to snort the tequila too. But nah. I ain't rolling with that. Aaron was studying film. That's what he was doing. He was studying his own tape. Well, after he asked the question to CJ, that's what Alpha Aaron was doing. That's a good call by Rich Boy. Rich Boy's on a roll today. Might be the MVP of the day. Ain't no doubt. All right, appreciate y'all for rolling through. Be sure to subscribe. Be sure to like. Be sure to ride along. Be sure to always remember when it comes to this Texan stuff, we're all in it together. I will leave y'all with a word from Sleeper. Manana, SNL 4 o'clock. We'll react to Nick Caley, and we'll keep this going. We'll go live after the Cowboys game. The next time we're on this night stream, how about this? The next time we're on this night stream, the season has started. The season has started, and we're 3 sleeps away. What a stacked season this is going to be. Reminder, subscribe to the Collective. And always remember, when it comes to this Texan stuff, we're all in it together. I'm geeked up right now, and I was already geeked up. Let's go.
Sleeper is the #1 fantasy sports app. It pays to know sports. Pick more or less on top players. Your first pick is on us, so start winning now. Play in Texas, Georgia, Minnesota, and 27 more states. Pick anytime across all sports, pregame or live. Over 10 million players are already on Sleeper. Make your picks count. Score up to 1,000 times your cash. Join today. Get up to $100 credit using the code LOCKER. Call your shot on Sleeper. Download now.
Opinions to give, we got takeaways. If it's up, then it's up. We #1. You don't need to try your luck. Locker room, yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk, yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize, every angle's what we really do. We the source, we the pulse of the city too.